Well, if you were looking forward to the next generation Xbox console, I would get ready to do something like break into your retirement accounts, maybe sell a kidney, maybe sell your firstborn child, because this console has now been confirmed by Xbox executives to be, quote, very premium, which of course is corporate code word for this is going to be way more expensive than you're expecting it to be. And this is us trying to soften the blow. Well, I'm sorry, Xbox, but there is no softening to be done here. Not only have you completely destroyed trust in your brand over the last few years, but you have driven away literally decade long customers of yours, like myself, to rival platforms because of how you've treated your brand, how you've treated your games, how you've treated your consoles, and ultimately how you've treated me as a consumer. And now you're going to turn around and not only raise the prices of your existing consoles, of your accessories, of your services, Game Pass, of course, but now when we do eventually get a next gen console from you, you are going to hit us once again with a financial sledgehammer. No, thank you. We have had enough. But on a positive note, as we look at this story in a second, I think we do actually know why a lot of this is happening. And it's because of the stuff I alluded to in my first video on this channel. This is coming down from the top of corporate Microsoft. And in fact, we now actually have a name and a face, one of the very tip-top executives of Microsoft, that is probably really responsible for these big disastrous changes to Xbox. And I think there's a very intriguing reason for that, which I'm going to show you in this video. I'm Shooter. Be sure to subscribe if you've somehow found my channel here. This is a brand new gaming channel. Of course, that's exactly what the world needs in 2025. More gaming YouTubers. But the thing that I'm trying to bring here, which I think hopefully you can get a sense of from this video, is an actual real passion for video games, an actual real passion for this industry that I think is sorely lacking, not only within the content creator space, but I think in the industry itself. How many people are in the games industry in 2025 to actually make brilliant, fantastic games? Or how many people are there just to kind of further their own careers, kind of use it as a corporate stepping stone, get a little bit of experience in one company, bounce around to the next, and kind of just boost themselves up a career path? This is not great for the industry. We need people with real passion here that are willing to actually make an argument that can fight perhaps for change. So be sure to subscribe, hit like on this, and leave me your comments below. I had some excellent comments on my first video, which I was absolutely not expecting. Really appreciate that. Keep them coming. Let's have a conversation here about the gaming industry that's actually driven by passion, actually driven by a real want to make this industry be as good as it can be, instead of just something that milks consumers, like every single other entertainment industry is currently doing in 2025, of course. Now, let's take a look at these headlines. The first one, this is where we have Sarah Bond, the one of the leaders over there at Xbox, one of the real high-ups at the Xbox side of Microsoft, telling us the unfortunate truth about the next generation Xbox console. And you can see that right here. The next Xbox won't be cheap. Sarah Bond teases a, quote, very premium, high-end next-gen console experience. And this is from Windows Central, who, of course, have quite a bit of an inside track on a lot of Xbox news. And I think their little byline here is actually powerful and important. The next Xbox sounds powerful and expensive, but after months of controversy, I would add years, Microsoft must win back player trust. It's over. There is no player trust left. We're at the point where that cannot be remedied. But that was kind of my first video. Let's continue here with this new stuff. Here is the full quote. The next gen Xbox, the next gen console is going to be a very premium, very high-end, curated experience, says Sarah Bond, president of Xbox. Think what this means. What have they just released? They've just released this ROG Ally Xbox X, whatever it's called, the $1,000 one. And that was marketed, by the way, as a Xbox. Everything's an Xbox. But apparently you can't actually play your entire Xbox library on that. That's another issue for another day. But another problem, you see the trust issues and why the trust issues are here, Microsoft? Should be pretty clear. That thing is $1,000. And what is that providing us? That's providing us with a current gen experience. So if we want a next gen, high-end, curated experience, is that still going to be $1,000? I think we're at the point where the answer to that question is no. It's going to be more. I've seen some numbers that have been floating around online. I think $1,200 could be likely, but I would not put it past them to go even further than that. As almost ridiculous as that sounds, stay with me here, because look at this next headline. We have now had it confirmed that the higher up executives within Microsoft here, the very top, Xbox down here, a level below, of course, like Windows and Surface and their other divisions within the Microsoft umbrella, from on high, the tip top executives of Microsoft, they have decreed that the Xbox brand needs to be pursuing profit margins of, wait for it, 30%. 30% profit margins on what Xbox is doing. And what has this led to? Well, as this Bloomberg headline tells us, massive job losses and tons of cancelled projects. Some of which, of course, looked really good. Like Perfect Dark. I don't remember if it was on my TikTok or on YouTube, but someone commented that Perfect Dark looked great, that it looked like it was going to be a real jump forward for Microsoft in terms of the games that it was generating. And I couldn't agree more. And also, I think there is a very serious gap in the gaming market right now for the stealth action genre. Hence the shirt. Let's look into this. Because here is where we also get our name of who may have been responsible for this at the executive level within Microsoft. Microsoft is asking its Xbox gaming division to produce profit margins of 30%. Quote, accountability margins, a term the company uses in lieu of profit margins. The gaming division has responded to the new goal by cancelling products, raising prices, and slashing thousands of jobs, according to people familiar with the business. The new target was implemented by Microsoft Chief Financial Officer Amy Hood and has impacted strategies under Microsoft Gaming Chief Phil Spencer with games that are cheap or less likely to generate significant revenue, taking priority over riskier bets. So we get two really big revelations from that. First off, this is not then going to be a true 30% profit margin, because how are they achieving it? By cutting the business to pieces. They're shredding the business apart and artificially creating this 30% profit margin to hit this artificial target that's come from on high, from the old glorious benevolent, omnipotent Microsoft executives. So even if they meet the target, they will have met it via artificial means. They wouldn't have met it by selling more consoles or more games or getting more people to subscribe. Do you see the problem with that? This is not going to cause growth. I, I mean, I am the furthest thing from a business person. This seems pretty self-explanatory. I mean, this is unbelievable. And the second point, of course, there is that what are they now going to then focus on? Games that are cheap to make or likely to generate significant revenue over riskier bets. So we are going to be shoveled a bunch of content, games that are little more than revenue generators for Microsoft. So guess what that's going to mean? Free to play, microtransactions, battle passes, endless subscriptions, everything that we do not want. Everything that has sent this whole industry down the path to self-destruction. But good on all of you guys out there that have cancelled your Game Pass subscription, along with myself. That may make a difference. But that Bloomberg article named somebody at Microsoft at the executive level who has called on Xbox to generate this 30% profit margin. And that person is Amy Hood, one of the executive vice presidents at Microsoft Corporate and the chief financial officer for the whole company. So this is an individual that has significant power in Microsoft. We're talking like a step below the CEO. If you look at her bio over on Microsoft.com, something very revealing can be found in here. So let's read this. Amy Hood is the Executive Vice President and Chief Financial Officer at Microsoft and is responsible for leading the company's worldwide finance organization, including accounting and reporting, acquisitions, keyword, business development and ventures, financial planning and analysis, global real estate, internal audit, investor relations, tax planning, and treasury. In other words, a hell of a lot. Let's continue. Hood joined Microsoft in 2002 and became Executive Vice President and Chief Financial Officer in 2013. Through her tenure with the company, she has advanced global momentum in cloud and helped Microsoft and its customers drive growth through technological shifts, including the era of AI. Now, here's where it gets interesting. She is deeply involved in the company's operations, as well as the strategy development and overall execution of the company's successful acquisitions of Activision Blizzard, LinkedIn, and GitHub. She has been a strategic partner of Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, propelling long-term financial growth, championing culture, and driving corporate initiatives that have bolstered the company's broader ecosystem. So do you know what I think this means? I think she is the executive at Microsoft who provided the final signature of approval on the Xbox division to go after Activision Blizzard. That multi-billion-dollar deal. And I think she now has this hanging over her head, metaphorically speaking. And unless she can demonstrate to the company that that was a good idea and has generated profit, she may not be long for much more tenure at Microsoft. And there may be information out there that confirms this. I don't know for sure. I didn't really follow that acquisition story in a whole lot of detail. So maybe if someone out there knows this for sure, was she the person who provided the final bit of approval that was needed to get that over the line for Xbox? Did Phil go to the executive level and appeal to corporate leadership and say, this is what we want to do and here's why? And she was the person at the corporate level who was convinced to do it, that thought it was a good idea. And now Satya is expecting her to use that to generate a profit. This may explain quite a lot. Now, again, that is just my speculation on this. Certainly not accusing her of any wrongdoing here at all. They probably just genuinely thought this was going to be a good idea. Turns out it's probably what has completely sunk Xbox, because it's driven them down the road of having to do all of these anti-consumer things, raising prices on everything, and sending loyal customers out the door elsewhere. Let me know what you think below. I'm going to continue posting videos here. Subscribe if you are new. Got a handful of subscribers from my first video. Decent number of views, I think, for a brand new channel. Thank you all so much. Hit like on this and share this everywhere you possibly can. It is free to share videos. Take this link, post it online. Let's see what we can figure out. Am I right about what happened with the corporate leadership here on Xbox? Do you think I'm right on the price of this next-gen console? I hope I'm not, but I wouldn't hold your breath. I'll be back with more videos real soon.